So welcome guys to this single take unscripted and improvised tutorial where I will show you how to create an application and deploy it to the cloud with a custom domain and SSL certificate, all for free and very easily. So I'm going to cut to the chase very quickly because time is of the essence. I'm already in my Heroku dashboard where I created a free account and I'm going to create a new application. Okay, I'm going to call it Wapploku and we're going to deploy it in Europe because why not? I'm from Europe after all, so it just makes sense. I'm going to change some settings here, like the build pack. We're going to add a PHP build pack so Heroku knows how to interpret our website. I'm also going to copy the our application internal Heroku link. And I'm going to add a custom domain here, which I already registered a few days ago. Now I'm going to create a MySQL database in Heroku. So I'm going to create an add-on here, okay, in the free plan for the database. I'm going to provision it. I'm going to open the connection settings, which I will be using later on. We can open the Heroku application that we created, so you can see here the default initial page for all applications. We will lead up there. Now we're going to Cloudflare to configure our domain here. I'm going to create a site in the free plan because all the services I'm using in this tutorial are free. So let's select the free plan. Now we will need to add a CNAME for a custom domain. As per Heroku guidelines, we will use it to a root domain. We will copy here the link from before. Okay, perfect. And we will add the record. Once that is done, we can continue. You can see here in the DNS that we have configured the CNAME here. And also you will have to go into your domain register and configure the name service for Cloudflare. I used a Freenom service because they provide free domains for up to a year, and you can also extend these domains for another free year once the expiration date is closed. I will go into my domain settings, into the name servers, and as you can see here, I have the Cloudflare name servers set up here. So we can finish with Freenom here now. Can go back to Cloudflare where we will be setting our SSL configuration to a full encryption. And we will also make sure it always uses the HTTPS secure protocol. So now that we're here, I'm going to pause the video because Cloudflare needs to do its thing, so it takes a bit to let's say move all the traffic through their servers. So let me pause and I will be back here once everything is set up. This took less than expected because the DNS records have propagated pretty quickly. So now let's jump to Wappler. Let's create a new project based on the real estate dynamic template created by the Wappler team. Okay, and let's do some changes here. Let's use the PHP server model and let's create a Docker local target. Okay, we will leave the configuration as is. Now let's change our index page to use the PHP extension, and let's launch our local environment via Docker. Okay, that's done. Now we can test this on our local environment. As you see, now what we're going to do is connect this website with the MySQL database that we created before in Heroku, and for that we're going to be using PHP myadmin via Docker installation. So let's look for the command we need to use for an external server connection. We have the host here, and let's change this environment variable. Okay, so that's then we can go into our PHP myadmin application. And let's create a table inside our database. Okay, let's call it test with 2 columns. And let's create an ID. Let's make it our primary key. Then auto increment, and let's add a string column. It will be a varchar, variable char for 255. Okay, once this is done, let's insert something. For instance, this string comes from the Heroku MySQL database. Okay, whatever. So now that we have this, we can go back to Wappler and let's create a server action. Collect query. We will add a database connection. We will use the one provided by the Docker environment, and we will change the connection settings. So we can go back here and start copying and pasting. Let's test that. Okay, that's perfect. Let's save it. Now let's create a single query connection. Let's link it. Okay, sorry. Let's build our query and we'll get the string that we created before. Okay, let's link it and save it. Now let's change this paragraph. First we need to create our connect action. Let's link it to query. And now in our title, let's change this and let's bind it to nothing, because it seems that this did not save correctly. Let's see again. Okay, here it is. Let's change this. So there you have the string that comes from the Heroku MySQL database. Let's save this and let's go back to our website. Sorry, we have it here, so let's reload. This string comes from the Heroku MySQL database. Okay, so the last step is to deploy this to Heroku, And for that, we are going to create a repository in GitHub. Okay, so let's create it here, private, create a repository. Let's copy the URL. We go back to Wappler. We go to our Git menu. We create a local repository here. We will select all of them. Initial commit. It's been commit. Let's manage our remotes. GitHub. Okay, that's perfect. Let's refresh. And now let's push to our GitHub repository. And we can see the application is uploaded here now. Now we can go back to our Heroku dashboard. We can go to the deploy tab and let's use GitHub to deploy. It will connect, it will ask for our credentials. We can search for the repository we just created. Let's connect and let's deploy the master branch, which is the only branch I have right now in GitHub. So it's doing its thing. Once it's done, it will be deployed. We will see a green check here. Okay, so we can go to our, this is our internal, okay, application. It's in the Heroku app domain. So let's refresh here and voila. Here we have the stream from the MySQL database. So now the last step is to see if this is available in our custom domain. So let's go. And here you have it.